Under no stipulation.
And here in the studio joining us
is Crystyles from Wdrbmedia. Exerta.
You gotta make sure they see.
See that.
She brought her shirt, so y'all know it's not ointment. Ain't no kind of cream. No hemorrhaging retention.
That's right.
Services here. It's
no
a
more.
brand. And we have with us
Miss Main of Everything Real Radio.
Excellent.
Before the break, we concluded talking about a book that apparently is very popular in the penitentiaries of America, and where people are getting rules and regulations from. The book is entitled
The 48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power. Okay.
I'll go through them and then you tell me when you want to expound upon one.
Okay.
Never outshine the master. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies.
That's a good one.
Let's look at that one.
Why is that a good one?
Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They are also spoiled and tyrannical. But hire a former enemy, and he will be more loyal than a friend because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. Dang.
Now the last part, that's where the like he said, it can be very manipulating. I give you that. But
Because if you take an enemy and turn him into a friend, then I guess the level of loyalty is greater. Is that what's being said?
No, it's not saying turn them into a friend. It's saying to recognize that there's going to be some form of competition. And so so enemies, we pretty much know where they are, right? If somebody doesn't like you, you know.
A hater.
They don't like you. Right.
They're going to always try to outshine you. They're always trying to do.
So you can possibly use some of the things that you know, right, to get ahead. But with friends, we have this level of trust, we have this level of care, this, comfortability we have with them. And then there's that underline of jealousy that's what the law is saying, or envy that's there, that we don't, kind of sideswipes us sometimes because we think, I thought you was my so-and-so, but you really didn't have my back, And so now I've gotten promoted and now you were my friend, you've become my biggest hater. Like, that's what it's saying, to be mindful of that. So we can keep them near, get what we need. But an enemy, you just know where they stand, and so you already know what they're capable of. You know what they're going to bring to you.
No guessing.
You know for a fact they're going to go in the boardroom and say and try to phrase it this way. So you prepare yourself for that, so that you can get to where you
keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
It's the same. That's exactly how I look at it. Okay. The last part of that is
if you don't have any enemies, make one.
Yeah, I think that's just taking it too far.
Yeah. But if you about your business, you're gonna find them.
Exactly.
Right. And if you don't, then obviously you ain't got nothing going on.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Conceal your intentions. Always say less than necessary.
Yes.
So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Create an air of mystery. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Win through your actions, never through your arguments. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
Going back to something about your actions, win through your actions.
Win through your actions, never through argument. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions without saying a word. Demonstrate. Do not explicate.
So be about it.
Yep.
Don't just talk about it. So just like what we say with radio personalities, sometimes if awarded an opportunity to be a radio show host, people will run out and try to tell people, ooh, I'm this, ooh, I'm that. But if they know you from Pookie around the way, and you always start something but never finish it, you never have anything, you're going to be just like your daddy, yada, 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 they're not going to put any credibility in what it is that you're currently doing. So sometimes you got to go out and do it first.
Right.
And then say, this is what I am. Somebody wants to become a real estate broker, so they got to go to real estate school and get their license. Oh, well, what you know about real estate? You don't even know own your own property, da-da-da-da. So they will discourage you because they know your past, as opposed to going out, getting the license, and then say, oh, by the way.
Right.
At that point, I done the thing.
Right.
So you can't say that I can't, because I've already proven it.
I've already done it.
So
right.
now I'm not talking about it, I'm being about it.
My favorite quote, I saw it at a gym. It said, "Tell the world what you're going to do, but show them first."
Nice.
So
That's right.
That is that's
Yeah.
my mantra. You know, a lot of things that I do when I talk to my Ferris wheel of friends, it's already happened. You know, like I've already completed it and I've already done it. And they're like, "Oh, that's great. You know, when is it?" I'm like, go to WW, like, it's already there. Wait, why you ain't tell me? I didn't even know. And I didn't even, and
Because you probably would have discouraged me.
Or
Or
didn't
you
have the
would've-
faith,
they
right? Or
would've-
didn't
right.
believe in it.
Because you can't tell everybody your vision.
Right, right. Or
Right.
because you wouldn't have believed it.
But
Right.
going back to that friends and enemies, my friends would have asked me so many questions. My friends wouldn't discourage me, but they would ask me so many questions
Discourage
that God
yourself.
has not. Right, God hasn't revealed everything to me yet. Like
Gotcha.
I know this is what I'm I know this is what I'm supposed. I just know that I know. I can't tell you how I'm going to get there.
Right.
I just know, and they would ask me so many questions about it in their efforts to be supportive. What can I do? One is an attorney. What can I do? You know, what paperwork do you need? And I haven't gotten that whole download yet, so I would end up doubting what God told me
Right.
because I don't have the answers.
Right,
Because,
right.
You know, so their support is like over supportive. So I'm just like, all right, Jesus, it's just me and you, and then when we done, we'll invite them to the ribbon cutting ceremony. But I ain't gonna say nothing.
We're not going to say
Yeah.
that.
We're not saying
Invitation just comes in the
Right,
mail.
right. And then
Understandable.
I
I've done
still
things
end
like
up
that
getting
myself.
why you ain't tell me? I
Yep.
would have helped you.
Yep.
That was just it. He didn't tell me to tell anybody because
Right.
he was my help. He was my resource for this movement, you know.
Yes.
But there are other things that you can do later on.
Right.
So,
And I don't understand why people get upset when they're hired to do a job and then the boss man takes credit. Well, that's what the boss man is supposed to do.
Right.
right.
You are hired to do it like a speechwriter. Okay,
Right.
you write the speech. Person who hired you to write the speech delivers the speech.
Absolutely.
They get all the accolades and ooh, that was so powerful and that was strong and I like when he said this. But you know that those were your words.
Absolutely.
But that's what you were hired to do, to make me sound good, make me look good. That is your job. So for me now to give you credit, I'm not required to do that because I've already paid you for that.
Right.
Right.
Now, if you volunteering and helping a brother out, that's one thing. Give credit where credit is due so that maybe somebody else will hear the credit and now they will employ you and give you money because I didn't give you no money. But if I'm giving you money and this is your job and this is what I'm paying you to do, then
Right.
yeah, I'm going to take the credit. That's a part of that job description.
Right. That's like that picture on the green leaf where he was writing the sermons. He didn't look like the one that could run Trinity or whatever that big church
The overarching
is. Right.
international whatever.
Right. He didn't like, so he had an African American male was writing all the sermons for the white man. But the white man could get all the money. He could get all the investors. He could get he had the look. He just didn't have the word. And so the black male thought, okay, now it's my time. But he kept saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. You know, keeping him down because the idea was for him to help me build this, and then I'll pass it on to you, and then let you take it from there.
Is that what Greenleaf is about?
It's got
Part of it.
something.
That's like that law. One of
It's
the laws
several
that you-
seasons.
that you just read.
Which
about,
one?
Don't
The
do the work and I'll take the credit.
right.
Which is
yeah.
what I was talking
Right.
about.
Yes.
Right.
So,
So that-
obviously
do
it's
the
Do the
work
work.
for you, but always take
Take the credit.
yeah. So that's obviously meant for slave mentality. You know,
No, that's meant for an employer-employee mentality.
I would say the same thing. Slave. You know, if you wanna
But
have
you
your own
signed
business.
up for it, though. Now, if you want your own
Yeah.
and you want to pay somebody else and you want your own whatever, then cool, then go get your own. That option is available.
That's why
You
I
are not
say
required to be employed,
about
but
the
if you're
word.
going to work for somebody else, expect the somebody else to take the credit for it.
Well, I guess everybody's not that entrepreneur type when they rather
Exactly.
work for someone because
And that's part of the price of working for somebody. You got Oprah. Oprah didn't build Harpo Productions or whatever by herself.
No, she did not.
But she is the icon and she's the one taking all the credit. But yet there's people that are holding a camera and holding the boom thing and writing the
Right.
scripts and setting up the sets and cleaning up after everybody and making the catering. So there's a whole bunch of people involved.
Yeah,
But
right.
Oprah is getting all the credit.
Yeah.
As rightfully she should. Because she's hiring these people to do the work.
Is the image of it. Definitely.
What are the laws?
We can go up. What else have we seen?
We said make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Win through your actions, never through your argument. We talked about that one. Infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
Yeah, that's probably a good one.
Which one?
Avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
You can die for someone else's misery. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead.
Because misery loves company.
So it's the
So they're miserable and they want you to be miserable. And if you're happy and they're miserable, then there's something wrong with you because you need to be able to empathize with my pain. So you need to be miserable too. So we can be two peas in a pod being miserable together.
Right. And it says you may
it
feel you are
also
helping the
means that
drowning man.
it
but
also
you're-
means right. It also means from the standpoint of us wanting to empathize and help others, and sometimes we can get so far into that it can, I like to say, rub off on you. It's
Right,
like,
right.
so, you're always helping somebody that is, I don't know, say you always got a girlfriend who always got problems with her boyfriend or her fiance. And every time you turn around, you're always talking about their problems. And then before you know it, your little relationship,
You got
Yeah,
you
exactly.
start having these problems.
Uh-huh.
It's because you talking to her and you esteeming her, but not knowing that some of the stuff that you guys are, exchanging, you start to, you know what? And then now you going home and you starting to act a little different and things of that nature. Now your relationship is having the same problem.
You trying to check the cell phone.
Right.
It's like you ain't never checked your cell phone before.
You would never did
Exactly.
it,
So
but now you looking at
why
the
are you
bill.
checking it
never
now?
looked at the bill.
Exactly.
You just paid the bill in the bag. Now you looking at the bill.
Exactly.
Don't start
Something
doing
wrong with
that
all that.
stuff. Let's not get so involved in other people's, mishaps and misfortune like
Right.
we wrote, to where it almost stifles you
Right.
or hinders you from, getting to where you need to be. So if you help, and I always remember, help and help to the capacity that you can do it.
Right.
Don't overdo it.
Sometimes pastors and counselors, therapists, they have to.
They
that's
give
a
that.
part
That's
of
a part
their
who they
job.
are. Yep.
But you have to not bring that home.
Home. Exactly.
Right. I like this one. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend
The wrong
person. There are many different kinds of people in the world, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. They are wolves in lamb's clothing. Choose your victims and opponents carefully. Then never offend or deceive the wrong person. The fact that it says choose your victims, it's like I am intentionally plotting out.
So these are one of
I
But
will
that,
devour.
that is what people do, especially in corporate America.
Yes.
Because in order for you to get that promotion, get to the next
Right.
level, guess what? There has to be a vacancy. So I need to be able to manipulate and change and delete some files and make your report disappear and stuff like that, so that the boss man will see your incompetence and hopefully then will hire me. That's why the whole crab barrel mentality, for me to go up, I got to pull you down. And that's a mentality, unfortunately, that people have that's erroneous, but that's how it's played out in certain scenarios. There was a movie, Swan or something, some dancer. She wanted to become the lead dancer. So she pushed the lead dancer down some steps and broke her leg. And
Black
now
Swan,
she
yeah.
became the lead dancer because there was now a vacancy. And she was next in line. And as long as old girl stayed healthy, I'd never be the lead dancer. So I'm going to go ahead, get her leg
She
broke.
chose her victim.
Right.
Chose her victim.
Clearly.
Yep. And got her promotion.
To get to where she needed to be. But this law saying do it wisely.
Choose the right victim.
Right, choose the right one,
because if
because-
she was vindictive in nature, she could come back and shank you after her leg get fixed.
Concentrate your forces. Conserve your forces and energies by keeping them concentrated at their strongest point. You gain more by finding a rich mine and mining it deeper than flitting from one shallow mine to another. Intensity defeats extensity every time. When looking for sources of power to elevate you, find the one key patron, the fat cow, who will give you milk for a long time to come.
See, that's why I think it's a good idea. It just may sound far-fetched, but it is a good idea for everyone to get paid the same amount of money with the job. I mean,
Are they all doing the same thing?
they're doing totally different things because it's going to take everybody to make that job function properly. So everyone should get compensated the same amount, and then no one should not be jealous. How you spend your money, then that's your problem. I mean, if you choose to spend it foolishly or whatever. But
So you're a massage therapist,
I am.
and if your massage therapy skills are better than the person who just got out of massage therapy school, you have more experience. You've been doing it a minute. They just got out. They should get paid the same as you. Is that what we're saying? The person that owns the massage spa and is responsible for paying the rent on the massage spa has the overhead, has to pay the payroll taxes, has
Yes,
to
they
pay
do.
the accountant,
They
and
do.
all the risks associated with entrepreneurship.
Right.
They should get paid the same amount of money as you.
Absolutely, because they're nothing without the work of the therapist. You can have all the building you want and all of the mortar, but you're not in business until you have someone to actually do that service.
So when you get your building and when you sign your name on the dotted line and when you assume all the risks, please come hire me because I want to get your same paycheck.
That's why I go mobile.
Right. I will sweep the floor
That's
And
right.
get the same.
and get the same pay.
Well, because I work
I
for
got
a
no
company.
problem with that.
I'm just gonna be a greeter. Hi, welcome.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome.
Look,
And the greeter at Walmart gets paid the same amount of money as the CEO of Walmart. Everybody get paid the same.
I work for a
Right.
company, and the pay is 70-30. And I'm thinking, this is not a good balance. I mean, I have worked for another company and it was 60-40, therapist way. But you're doing all of this work. I mean, I realize that you have to pay the bills and you may have gotten that money, depending on who owns the company, that could be old money that you didn't work for.
Or
in
it
the
could have
first
been a
place.
loan that you got to pay back
been a loan from your
at
dad or
24%
anybody.
interest rate that you had to get out in order to start the business
That's
because you
right.
didn't have the cash.
That is true, but you still cannot massage the people yourself. Therapists have gone to school; they have to keep up with their continuing education, and that costs money. So everybody's paying out money. So it's just a good idea
But
to
some
keep.
are paying out more than others.
Some are.
And some have a different risk level than others. And some people's responsibility. A brain surgeon has a different responsibility than that of a nurse. But you're saying that the nurse should get paid the same as the brain
Right.
surgeon, although the brain surgeon had to get more education and more schooling, although the nurse has to get education and
She
schooling as
does,
well.
and she does
but
a
the
lot of
brain
work.
surgeon has
Or he.
$500,000 worth of educational debt, where the nurse only has $50,000 worth of
Well,
educational debt.
yes.
His insurance, because if he makes a mistake, costs him $100,000 per year. Her insurance is $5,000 per year.
So be it, because there was a team. There's a team of nurses around me when I was having my child. It was
Obviously, she's
it was
not gonna
about
be the brain
7
surgeon.
nurses.
That's the moral to the story.
Nurses do all the work. Or,
But if you
the
were a
CN
brain,
and
if
the-
you were a
the
brain
CN.
surgeon, you would not like it if your assistant got paid the same amount of money as you. You can't sit there and say that you agree with
I
that.
may not like it, but
If you're the
it's kinda
president
like,
of the United States of America,
don't
you
get paid
can't
much.
say that that you should get paid the same amount of money as a mayor or as a congressman.
because
Because there's
cut
different
down
roles and responsibilities.
A whole lot of a whole lot of jealousy, and it's like Cuba. So if I'm correct, Cuba, everyone, if you have 2 cars and someone else has 0 cars, you need to give one of those cars to your neighbor, and then everybody can be happy. Or
And if you were the one with 2 cars, you would be okay with that.
I would have to be okay with that. I mean,
You don't have to be okay. I'm asking, would you voluntarily, willingly be okay?
especially if it's the law. Then I'll be
No,
more.
it's not the
prone.
law. It's out of your own free will. This is what you
Yeah, I
want
would do it.
You worked hard for it.
Yeah.
You saved up for
You
it.
got 2 cars?
I do.
Can I have
Okay,
one?
can I have
Yeah,
one?
I got.
I already asked.
No, I want it.
I asked.
She don't need one. She can take the bus.
I-
Give me one, give her one, and we be good. Do you
I
want a
got
car
3.
too?
I got
3
3
cars. 1,
cars.
2, 3. That's
I
what
do
I'm
have
talking
3.
about.
Now you got to
Yeah.
get it worked on because what they broke down.
I don't want the one that. I want
Work on it.
No,
I want the one that
no,
works. I asked.
no. I want the broken one and then y'all got to chip in to help me get the broken one fixed. Because we're all on the same level.
I'm not in her
right?
equation.
But the blessing
I
is in
shouldn't have to
giving.
be,
It's in
not in her
giving.
equation.
The blessing is in giving.
right.
Yes.
I mean, it truly is.
But we all got to be on the same level, so
agree.
y'all owe me
That's
some
right.
stuff.
Oh.
So I can get my car fixed. That she gonna deed over to me
I ain't even gonna pay
by the
you
end of this
attention.
segment.
I ain't even gonna pay you attention.
So I can get with your theory. Mm-hmm.
You're a
Yes.
blessed person.
I'm gonna be the person right there.
She
is a blessed person.
I'm gonna be
And
rolling
she
up
wants
the napkin
everybody
with the
to-
fork and the knife and put it on the table.
Everybody that
Yes.
has a role.
Right.
And I'm gonna get paid what the master chef get
clearly
paid.
Her love language is not gifts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your love language is not gifts.
My love language is not good. What do you?
She don't know about
the five love languages.
No, I don't think so.
There's
That's another good book.
gifts.
That's right.
That's a good book.
That's awesome.
Words of affirmation,
Acts of
quality
service.
time spent, acts of service,
And
Touch.
and
Physical touch.
physical touch. Those are the 5 things. Like what attracts you. There's a little application that you can take, and it will determine
What your love language
what your
is.
love. How do
Or
I
how
show you
you-
I love you?
Okay.
Or how you
Or
how I
you-
perceive love.
yeah.
How I
Like
receive
to-
love. For example,
yeah.
I'm acts of service. So for you to show me that you love me, you got to do some stuff for me.
Right. And
Because
mine
I'm
is
acts of
quality-
service.
And mine is quality
Okay,
time
yeah.
spent, like
Okay.
sitting there or
Yes.
not. You can buy me something, but I'm like, that's cute.
You trying to win me? Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah, whatever.
So you know, some of them come in the same.
Yes.
Right.
But my
You can have
first one is
multiple.
Quality,
Right.
quality time
Quality
as well.
time.
Yeah.
And then after that is words of affirmation.
Yeah, mine was quality time, acts of service, quality time, touch, acts of service, words of affirmation, and I think I probably may have had like 1 for gifts. Like
Really?
gifts is the bottom. It's
Wow.
the I've had and I've given.
Right.
So much the tangible things are irrelevant to me.
Gotcha.
You know, too much is given, much is required, and the blessings of God go without repentance. Like I'm good. Like lose it, get it. But this moment,
Christmas bonuses
Is
are
what I want.
canceled.
hey. But where we going? But where we going, boss? Where we going?
We canceling all the Christmas bonuses.
Right.
That's right.
No Christmas bonuses because we're all being taken to some remote island.
He left.
He like that.
He threw down the camera. I know.
Christmas bonuses are taken. Ms. Devon, he said there are no bonuses.
That's right. Mm.
But and I'm okay with no bonuses.
See,
If we are
and it
going
goes back
somewhere,
to knowing who you
you
hire.
hire.
So if you hire people where the gifts are at the bottom, oh, you golden. That's right. Don't gotta give you
They
that
like
thing.
quality time, so you do things like team meetings. That's what I do.
Yes. We will all come to
will
work
spend
on
time,
Sunday,
yes, and
and
have
we'll spend
fun.
8 hours
We said
together
quality
working.
time.
That's quality
That
time.
That ain't quality.
Yes.
Good
You
point.
put some quality in your work, right? That's what we gonna do.
Keep your love. Keep your love. Keep your love. All
Shoot.
5 of them.
Acts of service.
Keep
That's right.
all
We're gonna come to
5.
work and everybody gonna do some stuff. Yeah, to help other people out.
That's
See,
your love
yeah.
language, though.
Feeding
your love
is there something wrong with that?
How are you going to feed
You're
theirs?
tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media, the voice of the community.
Keep all your love.